It's Friday, July 5th, and this is Drive Check, a Card5 Vanguard podcast, brought to you by the generosity of our patrons, Curtis McNeill, Mew Will, Alex Cajka, Alan Camacho, and Wesley Welch. How are you doing, Alan?
I'm doing good. Kind of tired, though.
Yeah. So this is going to be a little different episode. I don't think you and I have recorded before, right?
Nope, this is the first time just you and I record.
Nice. Yeah, so Will is in Minneapolis at the moment.
Yeah,
doing his
he's having
thing.
a good time.
Yeah, scouting out places to live, looking for Vanguard places. So actually, this will probably be up later today. So if you're listening to this and you're in the Minneapolis, yeah, that area, and you play Vanguard, we'll give you Will's Twitter handle at the end, and you can hit him up and meet up with him.
Yeah, he was looking for places. I don't know if he ever found one.
Yeah, I don't know if he did either, but oh well. So we'll move on. Real quick, Lightseeker's Wave 5 has started to... this is our TCG news from around the world.
Yep.
Wave 5 has started to leak out. Have you been looking into it at all?
Yeah, I saw what I think it was Rion posted on our Discord. But yeah, no, everybody's like, the game's not dead. I'm like, I play Lightseekers almost every day.
That makes one of us. I haven't touched it in a very long time.
Have you played any TCGs whatsoever in the past week?
I have.
I mean, you were at ARG Nats.
I was.
So I'm guessing.
Oh man,
how did that go?
That was a whole thing. So I'm actually recording 5 different interviews with everyone that I went with, kind of like going through our experiences and whatnot. So I'm not gonna bog this down too much. It'll probably come out next Friday is the plan. But yeah, it'll be me interviewing 5 different people and going through and talking about that stuff. So anyway, I scrubbed out real hard. I didn't win a single game for Vanguard. I didn't win a single game for Argent Saga either. So, well, sorry, I won.
Not a good weekend.
No, and man.
But you did, according to your messages, I think you did something different. Like you just went in, with like a random deck.
So what I did was, I know the version of Neo Nectar that I play. I know that one pretty well. But instead of just going with my gut and going with that one, I decided to play or try out the Can You Say G's version of Neo Nectar. It was supposed to be made to battle Bermuda Triangle. In my experience, the first 2 games, my first 2 matches were against Bermuda Triangle, and they absolutely destroyed me. But I don't think that was mostly because I never saw Cecilia until, in the first match, I never saw her except for when I damaged her. And I only damaged 1, and then I died. That entire match, I only saw 1 Cecilia. And then the second match, I saw Cecilia, but it was my last drive check before I died. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe the deck does better against Bermuda if I'd played it more, but I was not practiced with it, so I didn't understand it as well as my original version. Because this one doesn't play Exploding Tomatoes. Okay. So I thought that was a little weird, but I was testing it out. And it did feel clunky, though. So I think going back to Tomatoes and the original build that I had, I think would be way better for me. But that was just my experience on that. It was not great.
Well, yeah, that happens. I went with Will, and his friend Brittany. We went down to Island Games last Sunday, and Will was teaching Brittany how to play, so they were playing open hand and just going through all the steps. They did a couple of games with no abilities, and then they went and did like 1 or 2 games with abilities. She was playing Will's OTT deck, which is Jesus Christ, that deck is so good. One of the games that they were playing with abilities, Brittany got like a 70k, 75k rectangle Magus with triple crit.
Oh man.
Because reasons, and then I played Will's brand deck with my Nova Grapplers, which I had not played. I like the feel of Nova Grapplers now. They feel a little bit more like Aeiral Nova Grapplers, which is good, because Nova Grapplers is all about that. I hit you and then I stand back up and try to hit you again. So that is kind of coming back into that clan, which has me a little bit excited.
Plus, I really love how they can attack outside of the combat phase. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I did see Turtle do that. I did it with the dragon. But I did see another build different than mine. I run Claydol mechanics and Ashura Kaiser on my build. And it's not bad, but I saw somebody else playing Maximum Riser and Jet Riser on it, and he was actually hitting bigger numbers, which made the other hits, the other attacks hit more.
Yeah, so that's my build is more like the Maximum Riser and whatnot, and I was using Claydol mechanic, but then I realized that it's kind of almost a waste of a grade 1 slot.
It did felt that way. I did get the draw power a couple of times, but I kept forgetting that he retires himself to countercharge.
Yeah, so like it's good if like during combat, if you're swinging and your opponent is like damage denying you and whatnot, and you swing, and after he's already boosted and attacked and whatnot, then you use like Azure Dragons is when he attacks, you counterblast 1 stand unit. If you use that and then gobble up Claydol mechanic, that's good, but yeah,
that's like literally the only situation where I was seeing him. It was like I would use him on my first attack, and then when a sure dragon counterblasted, I kind of retire him just so that I can keep that open space. But
yeah, so I think the card has gas, just not in the Beast Deities deck. I think, but yes,
yeah. But that was my Vanguard.
That sounds like I really like chill Vanguard. I'm kind of tired of competitive.
I still lost though. Brand like
he played that card. You play that card that made you like get rid of all of your intercepting rear guards. Yep.
Yes. My brutal jacks were like, come out, attack twice, next turn, intercepted. I'm like, god damn it. It really wrecks the deck, especially when you're playing turtles and brutal jacks, which is like, okay, they're in the field. Guess what? You're intercepting with them. It's like, so it made me a little bit more apprehensive with my hand. But yeah,
Brand is such a cool deck.
It really is. I kind of like it, but Will actually did forget to activate Brand for like 2 rounds, and then the round that he actually activates it, he wins.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, he just wanted to give you a little bit of a hope before he shut you down.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. So I have not seen all of this current week's episode, but last week, Ibuki kept puking, and then he got a single Messiah card, and now he's like a Messiah dude or whatnot now.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I watched last week's. I have not watched this week's yet. But yeah, I mean, what's up with all the puking? Dude literally has not eaten or drinking, and he just keeps puking. Which is probably leading to all the Greyon hallucinations.
Someone had some bad mushrooms.
But I was talking with with Will with the whole brand thing and how the Wandering Planet brand is now part of the whole when the Messiah kind of adds the planet to his back, and it's like if you see the episode, it's like when they actually tell him the leaders are actually part of Kree now. That's how I understood it. It's when the Messiah grabs Brand and puts it on his back, he becomes part of the whole. He becomes part of Kree and Earth and everybody else.
Yeah, and then because he's part of Kree, technically Ibuki loses his connection to Brant, so that means that he can't delete anyone anymore. Anyway, so
yeah,
I mean that's interesting.
So no more deleting. We saw the Neon Messiah, and now we know Messiahs are coming. Will must be extremely excited.
Yeah, exactly. He's also excited for Tsukyomi, which I need to correct you guys. Last week, you got erratas. I don't know if maybe it's just the way that I was hearing you guys talk about it, but Tsukyomi does not actually like accelerate your ride like Ezel does. Tsukyomi just makes sure that helps correct your ride targets. So make sure that if you lets you search the top 5 cards of your deck for I think any cards whatnot. We'll just read the effect. So at the beginning of your ride phase, if this is for Crescent Moon, if God Hawk Ichibyoshi is in your soul, which is your starter, look at top 5 cards from your deck, put 1 card from among them into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order, and discard a card from your hand. If you discard a Goddess of the Half Moon Tsukyomi, ride it as stand, and you cannot ride this turn. So this is at the beginning of your ride phase. So this is before you actually ride. So that means that so you're not bypassing, you're not like jumping rides, you're just choosing the correct target to ride.
I see what you mean. Yeah, we were thinking it was working more like the whole Essel right chain thing where you're like a grade 3 and your opponent's like grade 1. But yeah, because basically the card is already in your circle, in your Vanguard circle, and then you're starting your grade 2 right phase. And that's when you actually look.
Yeah, you're looking for the grade 2 Tsukyomi when you're trying to go on to when you're trying to look for whatever grade that's one more than what you're currently at. You're looking for that. That makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, because even like the draw helps, because even if you have like that Goddess of the Half Moon Tsukyomi already in your hand, you're still looking at the top 5 and looking for maybe your next target or just a card that you really need at the end game,
like a perfect draw or something
like that. So it's like fixing your hand too, which is actually good.
And I didn't realize this. For some reason, when I first read them, I read it as shuffle your deck, but you're still doing the Tsukyomi stack at the bottom. So these Tsukyomi cards are really good. I know there's one person at our shop who really loves Tsukyomi, and I haven't really talked to her since it's come out, but I bet she's probably super excited.
Yeah, like we mentioned in the last episode, we have that one player, Ben, who literally plays only OTT and like Angel Feathers, and that's like it. And he was playing Tsukyomi when Tsukyomi didn't have any of the good strides, the good OTT strides,
Yep, same with Jennifer. Ever since that was the first deck that she learned to play, was Tsukyomi. Like that's such an advanced deck because you got to remember the stack, and that was the first deck.
I know. Ben explained to me his process for stacking the deck, and I can't remember it correctly right now, but like he would stack triggers, but then put like a unit, like something between the triggers or between every check, so that he would know that after he drive check a specific like whatever, it's not a he drove check like a trigger, he would have like a normal unit in between, and he would drive check that, he would know that the next card is actually like a trigger or something, or if he drew it or whatnot.
Yeah, those are some galaxy brain plays over there for Tsukyomi.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I know Will wanted to start a new segment where we kind of look at an old card, and then we'll look at a newer card as well.
Cool.
But this will lead into our first piece of information, but we're going to go over Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Luquier. Luquier? Yeah. So she is actually
Luquier.
an extremely interesting card because there's actually 2 different versions of her with the same exact name. So there's the original Limit Break one, which is a grade 3 10k, act on the Vanguard Circle, Limit Break 4, Counterblast 3, choose up to 1 grade 0, grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3 Pale Moon from your soul, call them to separate rearguard circles. Ooh, shoot, that's really good. Oh man, okay. Auto on the Vanguard Circle. When your Pale Moon is placed on rearguard circle from your soul, this unit gets power plus 3,000 soul in the turn. Oh man!
So yeah, knowing that Pale Moon just keeps calling units out of the soul and then kind of just stacking them back into the soul, this card at that point, I mean, it's you probably at Limit Break 4 don't have 3 open counterblasts, or you may, I don't know, but still, out of her own skill, you're getting plus 12. So it was like a 22k if you were able to activate that skill. But then the other one, the other auto one, it's like every other Pale Moon card that pulls a card from the soul and puts it out, and even when you're placing it from hand, because you're placing it on a rearguard circle, you're still getting that power plus 3.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Hey, you want to read the next one?
Yeah, and then we have the Stride bonus version of Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Luquier. It's a Limit Break 4, Soul Blast 1, another card with Silverthorn in its card name. And at the beginning of your main phase, you may pay the cost. If you do, call this card to rearguard circle. You may have this unit get power plus 3 until the end of turn, and if you do, at the end of that turn, put this unit into your soul. Auto on the Vanguard Circle. When your G unit with Silverthorn in its original card name strides during your turn, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets until the end of the turn. When your unit with Silverthorn in its card name is placed on rearguard circle from your soul, that unit gets power plus 3 until the end of turn. So even if you were not using the Limit Break 4 one to call her out, but you just placed her from your, or you had it on the field, she's still a 13k attacker, which in G era was something because that means you actually have to drop a card to guard or intercept.
I think it might have been 14. I think she was 11. I didn't write it down, but I think she's 11 for the Stride bonus version.
Okay. Still 14k.
Nothing to sneeze at. Plus, it's on top of if you stride on top as well. So then you get that. Oh man.
Yep. So one of the things to note here is, if you look at the Stride one, it was when you had to have cards with specific names like Machining Decks or
Wave.
Dudleys, or Blue Waves. Yeah, so you had that archetype, and you had to keep cards with that archetype, which kind of made your decks harder to play. I feel not harder, but you didn't get support as often because you couldn't put any. Like, you couldn't put any Spike Brothers into a Dudley deck. It had to be a Dudley, or else the effects would not go off.
Kind of the same thing with Blouse, and it's very common. I like the idea of it, but I think they focused too much on that, and it was so restrictive with deck building. But oh man, such a cool card, art and effect wise. I'm a big fan. So the reason we're talking about those 2 cards is because they showed, I think it was like a monthly Bushy Road magazine, they showed cards from the next set, the VBT-06, which is the Phantasmal Steed, something. Yeah, the other Steed, AL4 version 3, whatever you want to call it. And the cards that they showed in there were Silverthorn Dragon Tamer Luquier, Covert Demonic Dragon Hyaki Vogue.
He's coming back.
He's coming back. Yellow Bolt for Dark Regulars, and New Nullity Revenger Masquerade for your paladins, shadow paladins. Here we go.
Yeah, dark paladins.
Your dark
Your
paladins.
edgies.
Your edgy.
I actually got a little bit excited about Hyaki Vogue. He was also one of those type of decks that we were talking at the top for Murakumo. I really want to see what the card does.
Yeah.
I mean, Murakumo in Giera was like horrible until like the last set. Murakumo was nothing. I stood by the clan, but I had to play other stuff if I wanted to win.
Yep.
So seeing Hyaki Vogue coming back, Hyaki kind of works like it used to work a little bit like Mandala back in Giera.
So it like changed the names of everything?
Yeah, he would change names to Hyaki because there were 2 different Hyaki units. But it was like this. It would have like an auto, like this card also has the name of the other Hyaki, so you could,
Oh, okay.
fill your field with Hyaki units, basically.
That makes sense.
Awesome. So, do you want to go over what was revealed?
Yeah. I guess we'll start with Stealth Dragon Daidoku. It's a grade 2, 9k power, 5k shield for Nubatama. Cool. When it is retired from the rearguard circle during your opponent's turn, you may draw a card.
So, building your hand, making your opponent lose hand, and then building your own again.
Yep, essentially.
Nubatama seems like they're gonna be. They feel they feel a little bit powerful with all the support that has been showing out in the last couple of days.
Oh, we'll get there. For the 10 cards that they got, I have yet to see a bad card. Yeah. Which is fantastic. I don't know
and the funny thing is, like, they all feel like they work for any Nubatama build.
Yes.
Yes, they do. They do sync more with certain builds, but I feel like they can work on any of the builds.
Yeah, you can make more of a hybrid build now instead of just having like a very clear division of what those 2 decks want to do. I think now you have more of a hybrid build. But I don't know if you really want to play this card or not. Depends. I guess it really just depends on what your meta is, because you're waiting on your opponent to retire. Style. Yeah.
It's all right. So I'm gonna take the next one. Stealth Rogue of Ferocity Suo. It's a grade 2 from Nubatama. 9k power, 5k shield. Auto on the rearguard circle. When placed, if your vanguard is Shura Stealth Dragon Jamio Kongo, until the end of turn this unit gets power +5, and when your opponent will call guardians from his or her hand, he or she must call 2 or more at the same time. Granted, good thing to notice, when placed. So this is like when you place it, so it's like once per turn, basically.
Yes.
So it's not a skill that kind of sticks with the card, which balance.
So I think its guard restrict works for the entire turn on all of your units.
Yes. So when you place her, if your vanguard is Yamio Kongo, you do get that effect for all of the attacks that you're doing that turn.
That's deadly.
Which is awesome, because when you think about Nubatama and the whole hand discard, it is your opponent will be at very low amount of cards in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this would work really well as forcing your opponent to die.
Yep, especially when it's comboed with Shura Stealth Dragon Jamio Kongo, which is the VR for Nubatama in this set. It's a grade 3 protect gift, 12k power. Auto on it's also like the smallest line of text on any VR. It's 2 sentences. Okay.
Yeah.
When placed at the end of your turn, your opponent chooses 6 cards from their hand and discards the rest from hand. If you have a grade 3 in your soul, your opponent chooses 4 cards instead of 6.
Ouch.
Brutal.
Good luck, OTT, keeping your hand.
Right? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oof.
Hand killer. I have not played Bermudas yet, but do Bermudas get like a huge hand size advantage too?
They can. It depends on the player and how they
build.
Yeah, the build and how the player likes to play the deck.
Yeah, because I know before Giera Bermudas, like the last Bermudas were like stupid hand size.
Yeah.
but dude, 4 cards instead of 6. So you wrote this as the second one, and boom, opponent down to 4. You called Suo. It's like you can only guard 2 of my attacks, if possible.
Yeah, you can only guard. Ooh, yeah.
But just remember one thing: when it says must call 2 cards or more at the same time, you can just call like a shield that would block the attack, but then you have to drop like, I don't know, grade 3 or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's as long as you put 2 cards on the Guardian Circle with or without shield value. Because I learned this with Musashi or Murakumo. So it really doesn't matter as long as they're putting 2 cards on the Guardian Circle.
Yep.
Which still hurts.
It still hurts, yeah. Because then they're taking away resources for next turn.
Yeah.
Oof. So this, like, I could see this card being like with Kujikiri Kongo as your second ride. So you kind of do your annoying guard restriction stuff with Kujikiri Kongo, and you discard and whatnot. And then next turn you throw this down, and then all the cards that they bounce back to their hand.
Able to get.
You can't. Ooh. I really like this card.
This Kuriki Kongo card, I'm kind of. I mean, I would not be able to get a new Atama deck right now, but
yeah,
it sounds very interesting and very restrictive. I normally just like to play big numbers, punch you in the face clans. Like this, the clan for this next card, Land Shocker Dragon. It's a grade 3 Narukami Thunder Dragon, Imaginary Gift Axel, power 12k. Activated on the Vanguard Circle. Cost Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row. Bind it. If you did, 2 of your units in the column of that unit get power plus 5 until the end of turn. So more numbers for hitting those magic numbers, drop more than 2 cards. Obviously clearing out that front row for other unit skills.
Yep, and getting rid of interceptors.
Yeah. So, and then your units get power plus 5, which also that's a plus 10k to the column if you have 2 units.
Yep. Which
is good.
So it's also, if you want like the max amount of bonuses, you should really be looking for to retire, bind, retire, whatever in your stock Vanguard or rearguard circles. You don't want to bind the Excel circles if possible, because Excel circles, unless you had something in the same Excel circle spot as your opponent, you're kind of losing out on that 5k. So
isn't like, according to the rules, you're supposed to place like your first axle on the left and then on the right, or is it like
and
so basically you don't get that until like second to third ride for axle, because that's when the circles start
mattering,
pointing against each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like this might be a good first ride.
Possibly.
To.
I also think for like a budget build, I think this has a lot of gas, because unfortunately its ability is only on the Vanguard Circle, which limits it, but that's fine. I want to talk about this awesome card. First off, the art on Brat Arrow Dragon is insane. I love it so much. It's a grade 3 Narukami Thunder Dragon without a gift, which is unfortunate, but its power is 12,000.
Yeah.
Continuous on the rearguard circle during your turn. If this is on an additional rearguard circle, this unit gets power plus 5,000. And then its second ability is continuous on the rearguard circle. During the battle it attacks, your opponent cannot use auto abilities. So that you can't PG this card. You can't G-guard this card either. So, well, I mean, you can't...
And it also gets that power plus 5 in case you're running Axel too.
Well, you can G-guard, you just don't get the G-guard's abilities. So let me throw that out there.
Yeah, because most of them are like auto when placed on Guardian Circle.
Yeah. So...
Restrictive.
Yeah. Also, I love that it's specifically rearguard. It's unfortunate that you can't ride it, but I don't know if I'd even want to ride this. I love this card so much.
It seems very good, especially, and I'm seeing a lot of guard restrict cards on all of these reveals, which in reality most decks didn't have guard restrict. Only a few of them do, and now that they're going through that second round of releases,
everybody's getting it.
Everybody's getting some sort of guard restrict, and it's good that it has that additional rear guard circle part too.
Yep. A big fan. All right, next card.
Yeah. Supreme Army Eradicator Suitan. It's a grade 2 Narukami human. Power 9, shield 5k, auto on the rearguard circle. When your opponent's rearguard is bound during your turn, this unit and all of your Eradicator Gauntlet Buster Dragons on Vanguard and or rearguard get power plus 5 until the end of turn. Then auto on the rearguard circle at the end of the battle that it attacked the Vanguard. If your opponent does not have rearguards in the front row, put this unit into your soul to draw a card. Wow. Alright, so I like I don't know how I feel about the whole put it into your soul to draw. I really don't know how hand size a Narukami is.
So with the new Narukami stuff, it's sort of becoming its own build. But back with who's the first Drill Detonics Dragon? The first build, they had a very large hand size because it was so easy for them to restand. So they had all those extra cards from drive checks and stuff. But I don't think they're gonna have as many opportunities to draw. Plus, I think they might be using their soul more with this. I can't remember, but so I think that this will be a really good card.
Yeah, I mean it looks good. We'll have to see how it syncs with the rest of the cards. Obviously, getting power ups, it's always good.
Plus, it's 5,000, which
always
is neat.
Good. So it makes it a 14k. So that's actually good. That just helps.
And then so I think the biggest point is that it affects your Eradicator Gauntlet Busters on your rearguard circle as well. So in case
even Vanguard and rearguard.
In case you got to throw down to get numbers, you're actually plussing, which is really cool. Speaking of plussing, Eradicator Gauntlet Buster Dragon. Grade 3, Thunder Dragon from Narukami. XL gift, 12k power. Continuous on the Vanguard circle. During your turn, this unit gets power plus 5,000, critical plus 1 for each open rearguard circle in your opponent's front row. Let's just talk about this one first.
Power plus 5 and critical. Axel clans, beware.
This is the Axel killer.
Wow.
For sure. Oh, man.
Because Axel circles are actually considered part of the front row.
Yep, they are front row circles. Oh, man. So that's brutal. Wow. Even just against normal Protect and Force clans, that's swinging in for 3 critical and plus 15 power. Plus 10 power.
For plus 10 power and plus 2 crits.
That's nothing to sneeze at. Plus, Narukami likes to give power to their units. They're one of the few Excel clans that actually get power. They can hit numbers. Yeah. So that first skill right there is super dangerous. And then the second skill is act on the Vanguard circle. Counterblast 1 and discard a card from hand. So drawing a card with the previous card definitely helps with this. Bind all of your opponent's rearguards in the front row. So already you get that first skill is for a counterblast and discard a card. Bind all in the front row. That's insane. You may move all of your opponent's back row rearguards to rearguard circles in the same column. Oh, so you can shove them up. Yeah, when you get rid of them, you can bring them in.
Yes. I mean, if you have that pesky great one that and force me to intercept right
for Link Joker, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can just move it up and punch him.
Get him out of here.
Kill him with fire. Well, in this case, thunder. So super good ability. I mean, like you said, I'm just clearing out your front row, and then, I mean, if your great one is not that bothersome, and it's just, whatever, you can just leave him in the back row and just get yourself that power up. And didn't we also see some sort of card last week that said that you could move the back row units like diagonally or something Dragon, like that?
I think, yeah, you can move him in diagonal to bring him forward.
Yeah, but I think that's also a grade 3, right?
Yeah, and I think it's on Vanguard Circle specifically. Yeah. So
yeah. So that's fine, but still, I mean, either or, you're clearing out the front row, and this one feels a lot like a closer.
Yes.
Like, this is the card you drop when your opponent's at 4 damage, and you have, like, your full field with all your axles full and all that. And you just drop this in, bind everything, clear that front row, get rid of all those you thought were safe grade ones.
Yeah, exactly.
And get rid of all of them. It's just, wow.
It's a really
Axel
good
clans
card.
beware.
Yeah. Axel clans, watch out. Like, I don't know if you want to even, like, if you're playing competitive, I think this is the Axel clan to go with moving forward. But, yep. All right, so next card.
Sure. You want me to go for this one?
Yes, go for it.
All right. Stronghold of the Black Chains, Hoel. We were, Hoel, everybody was kind of talking about Hoel.
Yep.
It's a great one from the United Sanctuary, Gold Paladin Human. Power 8k, shield 10k. Continuous on the rearguard circle. Your other unit in the same column as this unit that was placed this turn gets power +5. If Advance of the Black Chains Kahiden is on your vanguard or rearguard circle, it gets power +10 instead of power +5.
Okay,
cool.
So that is also no cost. It's just if you have it, you get power.
Yeah. So your other, very important, your other unit.
Yes. So this one has to be placed first.
When you place this first, and then you call something in the front, then you get that unit in the front gets that power. It's not Hoel, it's the unit in the front of Hoel. So very important distinction there.
It doesn't have to be in the front either, because I know when we get to the VR in a couple cards for Gold Paladin, it just has to be in the same column. So
yep, it just has to be in the same column. So if you place Hoel in the front and then drop your most needed, your grade 1, that unit gets that power.
Yep.
So very, very, I feel like it's a good card. I mean, I honestly have not played a lot of against and or with Gold Paladins, so
same.
I mean, I know Gold Paladins are just redonk, so we'll see how that goes.
Right. I'll get Advance of the Black Chains Kahiden. Grade 2 Human Gold Paladin, 9,000 power, 5,000 shield. Odom on the rearguard circle. When placed, cost Counterblast 1 and discard a card from your hand. Look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Call 1 card from among them to rearguard circle. Shuffle your deck, and if Stronghold of the Black Chains Hoel is on your vanguard or rearguard circle, draw a card.
Hand fixing.
And calling for Counterblast 1.
I kind of like what they have done with Gold Paladins. I mean, yeah, they do force you to always be like discarding 1 card to be able to pull something from the top of the deck. But, G-Era Golds were like, here, I place this, Counterblast 1, call something out of the top 3. And it possibly is going to get power. And then when that unit is placed from the deck, you get to call another card. And it was just super awesome. I loved Golds. Back in G-Era. I unfortunately, I kind of restrained myself in standard, so I did not go into
good because that's a money clan right there.
But oh my god, it just is so good though.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this. I like how it tells you like if your hole is somewhere around there, on Vanguard. I don't know how it'll be on your Vanguard or Rearguard when you're calling hitting your grade 2. Oh, because you can play another card that lets you call something from the top of your deck.
Yep. So it could happen. It's probably going to be very rare that it'll be on your Vanguard circle when you're playing Kahiden, but possible. Still
possible, but still, if you have them down, you get that draw card, which is I feel like it's good.
Yeah, it's real good.
So go ahead, read the VR.
All right,
I'm excited about that one.
Blazing Lion Platina Ezel. It's a grade 3 gold paladin human. Also, the art for all 3 of these gold paladins are insane. They're really good.
Very good.
So act on the Vanguard circle, cost counterblast 1, and change this turn's first drive check to look at 2 cards from the top of your deck, reveal 1 card from among them in your trigger zone, and call 1 card from among them to rearguard circle. If your soul has 2 or more grade 3 cards, change the second drive check of this turn and more as well. Okay, so basically, instead...
One thing to notice, no gift.
Oh, I think it does have a gift.
It does have a gift?
I think so, yeah. I just didn't...
Let me... While you explain it, I'll look it up.
Okay. So, counterblast 1, and you are picking your drive checks. So, instead of drive checking a unit, you are able to choose a trigger and then call a normal unit. It does stink, however, when you are checking for 2 triggers, and then you got to pick 1 trigger to call and 1 trigger to activate. But I guess I think it rewards the player with more skill and who can like read the board better. I think it rewards you for that. And if you have 2 or more grade 3s in your soul, then you're able to check all of your other drive checks as well. So
here it is, V series. Cool.
Yep.
That art looks so good.
It's so good.
It looks so good. So it does have a gift.
Okay.
It does have an Axel gift.
Yep.
Awesome.
I just missed that when I was copying and pasting.
That's all right. I mean, you're changing that drive check to look. So fixing drive checks.
Fixing drive checks and calling from a drive check as well.
And calling from drive checks.
So
people, you had that empty Axel circle or whatnot, and you need that. Oh god, you need a card in there. Just any card. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 0. Because even a trigger in an Axel circle hits, or unless if you're doing Axel 1, it'll hit. If you're doing Axel 2, it might not.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you're fixing your drive check. You're looking for those triggers, and you're gonna hit those triggers.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, it might not be as good as the other SLs, but still,
I
feel like it.
If it's not good, it is a super cool and intriguing card, and I'm very happy because I don't remember them playing with this kind of this space. We're calling from your drive checks and stuff like that. So
yeah, so that's one of the things to get excited of. It's like fixing drive checks. You know, who else would benefit from something like this? You know,
right?
So they're kind of experimenting to see how this goes. I know that most of the comments that I have read, like on Vanguardians and stuff, it's like, it's meh, probably. So I really don't know. Like I said, I haven't played Gold since Standard, but either way, you're probably this is like your second or third ride or something.
Even your first, it's still super beneficial on your first ride as well.
Yeah. So it helps you make fields.
And it only costs you a counterblast. It's literally the only cost. Which I don't know how...
So it's kind of cheap.
Yeah, I also don't know how like counterblast heavy golds are. But I think from what I've heard people say is this makes Pelennor more viable. Because Pelennor you can ride from... I think you can ride it from your hand. I don't remember Pelennor. I have a Pelennor deck here. But
you do?
Well... I haven't played it. I built it because it was cheap, and I thought maybe I might do like a budget version, but yeah, I have it. So I really like this card, and that is, we now have all of the VRs for VBT 05, and they are all super awesome. Like there's not a stinker in the set. If they're not like competitively viable, they all do something super interesting.
Yeah, I feel like this was a very experimental set for Bushi,
and I'm very happy that they are actually experimenting this way.
Yeah, so I have Pelennor pulled up. So yeah, it's like auto from hand at the end of the battle that your rearguard's attack hit a grade 3. You counterblast 1 and soul blast 3, and you can ride this card as stand, and it gets drive -1.
Soul blast 3.
Yeah, but that really depends on how much soul they have.
Yeah,
but still. And then at the end of the battle, that when it's on the Vanguard circle, at the end of the battle, that your rearguard attack the Vanguard, counterblast 1 and return that unit to your hand. So, I mean, it feels good because you're basically swing with Platina, and whatever. Then one of your rearguards hits, and you can, since you already used Platina's effect, you can soul blast those and write. So at least that's how I see it.
Also, like, what was his second ability again?
Yeah, at the end of the battle, that your rearguard attacked the Vanguard. So if the unit attacked the Vanguard, counterblast 1 and return the unit that attacked to your hand.
So if you're forced to call a trigger with Platinum skill, you can return it to your hand, potentially.
Yeah. You can make it remember, it just says that it attacked a Vanguard, so it doesn't say when it hits a Vanguard. So you can just, even if it's not going to hit, you can swing with a trigger and return it if you really need the right part in your hand. So I can see that synchrony there. I mean, it feels a little bit heavy on the cost.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited for this set. I think I might. It's very possible I might be more excited for this set than I will be for My Glorious Justice, to be honest. But yeah,
we'll see.
Ooh, super excited.
I'm still trying to get that clan set for Jesus Christ, the one that's coming out now.
The Novas one.
Yeah.
The Heroic Evolution.
Yeah, Heroic Evolution. I still can't get that Nova pack. Every time I go in, it's like sold. I get the email sold. I'm like, people, let me buy it, please.
I can probably help you get that. I know.
We'll talk offline.
I know a guy or two.
Nice. Cool beans. Do we have any emails this week?
Don't think so. I mean, I need to put this up anyway, so if we have any emails, we'll just save them for next week. It'll probably be a quieter week anyway. So,
let's hope so.
All right. So we have a podcast on iTunes. Like, do you know the whole thing with iTunes splitting into different things? Do you know?
No, I know that. So, I really don't. I haven't read anything. I know that when it's international, Apple podcasts or whatnot, the reviews are not shared on US podcasts. That's what we'll explain last week.
So I think that iTunes is splitting with the Apple podcast is going to be its own thing, and I think the App Store is going to be its own thing, and iTunes is going to be its own. I think all of the departments of iTunes are splitting up and being their own thing. But anyway, so we have on the iTunes podcast app or whatever, we have a podcast there. It's called Drive Check, Card Fight on Vanguard podcast. You want to give us a quick review? Much appreciated. We can always use those delicious 5 stars and feedback and critiques in order to make this better.
Yep, and like Will mentioned last week, if you're international and you're listening to us outside of the US, I know he mentioned that we had UK and we have Canada. So if you're listening in any other part and you can send us a screenshot of how those reviews look, we would greatly appreciate it. You can hit us at drivecheckpodcast@gmail.com.
Look at you. Look at you. It's like,
oh, there you go.
It's like you've done this before. Okay. Also, thank you to Zach Boydis for our rockin' intro, and Jeremy Woods for the rockin' outro as well. Also, Patreon. Patreon.com/drivecheck. If you can spare $1 a month, you'll get access to our Poppin' Discord.
Yep, that Discord is always banging.
A lot of great people in there talking about lots of different things, primarily Vanguard, but fireworks and stuff.
We do talk. We do every and any TCG out there. We talked about them. I mean, it is awesome. It's a great Discord. So if you can become a Patreon, like Cole said, $1.
Yep, and $1 goes a long way too. By the way, definitely does. It helps us out with a lot of stuff. Also, if you could please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow that. I am getting in the hang of posting the podcast directly to YouTube as well. So if you have any friends who listen to only YouTube podcasts and stuff, like other podcasts that I'm not going to mention, send them this clip. It's literally just me uploading the audio with a fixed background. Nothing fancy, but all that stuff.
And on another note, I got the website halfway through, just getting those final approvals from our Steam hosts. So, you'll be seeing that up.
I'm very excited to see that. And you already gave the the drive check podcast @gmail.com email. You already gave that out. All right, let's just end this train wreck. The podcast on Twitter. Yeah, the podcast on Twitter is @drive_check. I am @Cole_McCune, MCCUNE, and you are
at the tallest IT guy. So cool. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Drive Check podcast. With sincere gratitude, I humbly partake. Awesome. So we got Charlotte Vampire. Cool.
Yeah, I love Charlotte. He's so cool.
Cool beans.
I got words for you folks, by the way. For all of y'all wanting to replace me. Am I that bad of a host?
You guys are making Cole cry.
It was a joke that Will put up, and everyone was like, well, I'll take his place. I can do that.
Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for listening in. Awesomeness. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.